Potato.
Why do you always do that? What's up, dudes? And welcome into the Bro4 Squad Quick Lift segment. And today, unfortunately, we are doing a review on Suicide Squad Extended Cut. This movie is near and dear to our hearts since way back in August. It was the first topic of our very first podcast. And without that podcast, there would be no Matt Geiger, which is myself, or Jeff Hornacek, Alex English, who are absent tonight, or our very own comic book Jesus, Brian Banner, who is joining me right now. So, Mr. Banner, your overall opinion of the Suicide Squad Extended Cut, did it change your initial opinion when you saw it in theaters, and did you like the added material?
It changed my opinion, but it didn't make me go, like on Batman vs. Superman, it made me go from I hated it to I actually enjoyed it quite thoroughly. This, it went from I hated it to I did like the extra scenes. That scene with Harley Quinzel and the motorcycle chase with the Joker was fantastic. And it kind of like in BVS, it filled in some holes that we had. And it made some things make a little bit more sense. What about you?
The thing about that scene, and I had this scene in my notes with a huge fucking circle in it when I was watching it, not only is this the best Joker scene, it's probably the best Margot Robbie scene, and I don't know why it was cut out. It makes a lot more sense in the relationship, how it's kind of... It's not all fucking flowers and daisies, let's just put it that way, and it makes way more sense that the Joker wanted to get rid of this chick, but then once she took a chemical bath, he's like, you know what, I love her, and he dives right into her. There's some others.
And that scene, she actually did some fucking acting.
Yeah, she did, and she can act. I always liked her version of Harley Quinn, but Harley Quinn is only as good as how you set up Harley Quinzel. A la Batman's only as good as how well you set up Bruce Wayne. You can go on and on. You know, Robert Downey Jr.'s, I mean, he's only as good as how you set up Iron Man. But there was some more Joker and Harley scenes that went into a lot more depth, and the one thing on Harley is she kind of says that I know everything about the Joker from his childhood, and she's the only person in comic book or any documentation ever that actually knows everything about the Joker, and she still loves him, which I would like to come up a little later because the Joker is a very unknown villain, even to me who has read a bunch of comic book art. Some other stuff. Killer Croc, yeah, more funny shit. I could have done without that.
Yeah, I mean, it was cute.
Rick Flag. This was interesting to me. Rick Flag and Deadshot's relationship in the extended cut was way more in depth, and I think this would have hit theaters if Tom Hardy actually took the role. But Kinnaman did such a shitty job, and people were like, man, we're not buying this, that a lot of his scenes got cut. But Rick Flag and Deadshot, in the initial script, it looked like to me before all these cuts were made, had a very interesting relationship and had a lot of talks. What were your thoughts on some of those? Because they had a lot of in-depth conversations that were not in the original theatrical version.
I agree. They had a love-hate relationship is kind of what I felt like, is that, look, I need you and you need me. We don't like it, but this is kind of this is what we're stuck with. And the extended cut definitely brought that out. Now, the portrayal of Rick Flag, I wasn't a fan of. Obviously, I'm not a big DC comic guy, so my knowledge of his background character is limited. But just as a pure storytelling and viewing experience, I didn't buy him as much, but I bought him more in this extended cut, mainly because of, I think, what Will Smith brought out in Rick Flag's character.
Will Smith definitely, we'll get to him in a little bit, but he definitely ups everyone's acting performance whenever he's on screen. The one thing I do take away from Rick Flag, and I don't think this was in the extended, I think it was in the theatrical version, I just didn't hear it, I guess, but Rick Flag tells Waller, I'm not really scared of you because I got friends in high places, which to me means he's talking about Green Lantern because they were friends in the Corps, which I thought was really fucking cool. I don't know who else he'd be talking about at that kind of juncture. That was before him and Deadshot really got to be friends, and Deadshot's not really a friend in a high place. But other than that, seeing it again, did it change my overall viewing? No, because for the first 40 minutes I was hooked in this movie, and then Enchantress takes over and the story just fucking falls on itself. So I'd still give it, I think I gave it a 6 out of 10, and I'd stay with that. Changing gears here, let's each pick an actor or actress that will praise and one that will bury. I'll go first on this. Praise, it proved me right. I said from the beginning when I saw this film, Leto did a great job. He just wasn't given the he was given the ability to succeed, but they cut all his fucking scenes. And all the extra scenes in this, not only did he prove me right, he proved me right-er, if that's even a fucking word in the language, because all the scenes that he had that we didn't see were fucking awesome. So
I agree. I think that part of also is it was an uphill battle for him from the beginning because everybody was going to be comparing him to Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
He played a completely different Joker than Heath Ledger, and I think it worked fantastically.
He played a more Joker closer to the comics, actually, because the Joker is part of the mob. He was never kind of a lone wolf. He always had people kind of at his beck and call, and he didn't like to get his hands dirty as much.
But I think Leto, with that, was climbing an uphill battle, and he climbed it. He was at the top of the mountain.
I'll never say he was better than Heath or anything. I don't want to compare the two. It was different. Like I said in the very first pod, I don't care if you think he was better. I don't care if you think he was worse, but everyone wanted him to have an opportunity to prove them right or wrong or just prove them anything, and we weren't given that. We're given a little bit more. We're getting a little bit more in this version, but I'd still like to see a lot more from him. One that I'm going to bury is Enchantress. I'm not going to go on a whole fucking rant about this. Everything that's been said about her has been said. I don't know if it's really the actress's fault in the fact that she was just the wrong villain for this fucking movie. It should have been a lot more grounded. It honestly seemed like from dusk till dawn for me. I was like, man, I'm watching a really cool grounded movie. I'm interested. And then boom, everyone's a fucking zombie. And Tarantino just got his head ripped off. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Except that movie was actually good. This movie lost me at about the hour mark. But
yeah, that movie actually had a storyline.
Yeah. So throwing it to you, let's bury one and let's praise one.
All right.
Praise one and bury one.
I think I'm going to bury Rick Flag. I just didn't buy it. He was trying too hard to be this macho, badass guy with testosterone filled, and I've got something to prove, but he didn't have anything to prove. I didn't really buy the whole he was in love with the archaeologist that turned into Enchantress. That
was stupid.
I didn't buy that. I think that storyline possibly could have worked, but I didn't buy it. And then I'm gonna praise Will Smith. We said it before. Everybody that was in a scene with him was automatically better. He took what was kind of a shitty script and a shitty story and made it better. Now, I don't know how much of that was editing, where they edited him to make it look better, because obviously they edited Jared Leto and the Joker out a little bit. So he could have gotten a little bit of push from that. But I still think he did fantastic, and I'm excited to see him and Deadshot moving forward. As a supporting actor. I don't think he can be a main character. I think he would be a very good supporting character.
And I want to talk about Big Willie Style for a second, and I don't want to touch on the Birds of a Prey movie that's been rumored or the Deadshot solo film, because we already did that on last night's pod, and if you haven't caught it, go on Podomatic and check it out. It'll be on YouTube tomorrow. But like I said, I liked Will Smith.
Well, guys.
I liked Will Smith in this. I would like to see him as Deadshot again. I've never wanted a fucking Deadshot movie. That's just nothing I really never came up. That being said, though, in this movie, yes, every time he was in a scene with Margot Robbie, they killed it. Anytime he's in a scene with someone that was of lower acting caliber than him that wasn't very good in this movie, like Ja Courtney or anyone like that, he raised them up, which is what a great actor should do. So, lastly, let's talk about the mess that is this overall story and the misguided direction by David Ayers and Warner Brothers. You have the honors. Go ahead.
I just don't get it. Here's the thing. I align more with the casual comic book fan when it comes to the DC movies. I don't know a whole lot about the DC universe. I have been really getting into the DC animated universe, the newer movies that they've had, the PG-13 and R-rated ones. But again, those don't follow the comic books as well, so I can't really resonate with that. So as a casual fan, visually it was pretty cool. The beginning, the origin stories going through the prison and meeting all of them was really cool. After that, you fucking lost me.
Yeah.
And then moving forward now, we're going to get again, so am I going to get fucking lost for another 2 hours? I don't know. I don't buy it. I think that they did good. Now, obviously, they made so much fucking money. They're going to make like 7 of these, but I don't know. I don't buy the story.
The main problem with this story is with any story, really. You need to know when to push and when to pull. Now, this story is a chopped up mess, but I think it would have gotten
They should have zagged.
Well, yeah, they definitely zig when they should have zagged on this motherfucker. But I think it would have passed as a chopped up mess for me and maybe got a B+ if the actual story and the villain wasn't so messed up. And let me go back on this: when to push, when to pull. Superman, any Superman movie, absolutely have Enchantress, have someone with magical, mystical powers that could take over the world. But for the first 40 minutes of this movie, you showed me a crazy chick that has no powers at all, Deadshot that has no powers at all, just can shoot people, a crocodile who's super strong. I will give you maybe El Diablo has superpowers. Captain Boomerang doesn't have it. None of these people have superpowers. This should have been a very grounded movie, but the villain is such a mystical fucking creature out in, it's way fucking out there for me. Now, I'm not saying I don't like out there movies because Marvel does a very good job of that, but they have out there fucking characters. Like when there's a Thor movie, it's going to be out there, but whenever it's something like just an Iron Man movie, it's very grounded. The villain should match the heroes, even though the heroes are villains in this case, but the heroes should match the villain. It should be an equal match. I don't know if you know what I'm kind of getting at here.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think that they made too big of a jump.
Yes.
They should have made the villain not so out there in this one. Now, you can make a villain that's out there and still have these grounded characters like this, but you have to build up to it. And they didn't build up to it. They jumped too quick. They got into it way too fast. They went 0 to 90 instead of going, hitting 45 first.
Well, and it's just, and this is kind of the last thing I'll say about it, is the villain was supposed to be a huge, oh my god, we don't know who the villain is. And then after a while, I was like, yeah, we do. You're not hiding anything from us. I thought they were going to hide something really fucking cool, like Steppenwolf was going to come in this motherfucker or something. It's like, it was Enchantress the whole goddamn time, which if you would line it up, maybe besides Boomerang, Enchantress was like the least person I was really excited to fucking see, and then she's the villain of all this, and somehow she has a brother, which reading DC Comics my entire life, I never knew she had a brother, nor did I look it up on Google afterwards because I didn't care about it afterwards. So, oh man, I'm done with this. I'm ready to fucking move on to something else. This has been a thorn in my side for months. I'm good if you are.
We're done until what? 2018, 2019 when Suicide Squad 2
comes out. I think the Birds of a Prey movie, or as they call it, Gotham Sirens, will be good. I think Deadshot will probably be a good movie. I just don't know why the fuck they're doing it.
Here's the problem with all the DC movies. They all have potential. But, they're that 4-star recruit that just doesn't pan out.
Yeah, they're just... Well, I consider them... the first year the Miami Heat got together, I'm like, God, they have the best players in the NBA, but a team in the Dallas Mavericks kick their ass. And Marvel has a team, and they know what the fuck they're doing. Everyone has a role. DC is just not DC, it's Warner Brothers, because DC Animated is fucking perfect. It's Warner Brothers, all these people, they don't fucking know what the hell they're doing. So, all right, guys, we are the Broforce Squad, and if you want more of us, we are like a middle-aged single mom in a strip club, not that hard to find. We are on YouTube and iTunes. Please subscribe to both. Tweet at us on Twitter at Broforce Squad. Like us on our Facebook page. And for all of this and many, many more, including our popular blog, check out our website, www.broforcesquad.com. For Matt Geiger, he's Brian Banner. We'll see y'all tomorrow after our Star Wars Rogue One review.
Bye-bye.